Welcome to another episode of the Retirepreneur podcast. I'm your host with this week's executive summary for busy entrepreneurs building their second act business. Today's episode is designed for maximum impact in minimum time.
Yeah, and today's deep dive is really tailored for a very specific listener.
Exactly. I mean, if you are 55 or older and you are stepping out of a long corporate career, you are exactly who we are talking to.
Right, because you want to build a lean second act business without risking your retirement security.
And you have 30 years of really nuanced, hard-earned expertise. But then, you go to ask an AI like Claude to draft an email.
Oh, and it just spits out the most generic, entry-level corporate jargon imaginable. It is so frustrating.
It really is. It feels totally disconnected from your actual skill level. So we are looking at a stack of fresh research today to figure out why that happens.
Yeah, we've got an MIT Sloan study, a new 2026 arXiv paper on context engineering, and a really practical setup guide.
Right, a guide from the platform Retirepreneur, which was founded by Kurt Rose.
And our mission today is to figure out why your AI assistant sounds like a college freshman right now.
And, how to transform it into a highly specialized business partner for your consulting, coaching, or course business.
So a lot of people just assume they are bad at prompting when they get that terrible generic advice.
Oh, yeah. You think there is some secret coding language you just don't know. So that you aren't cut out for the tech.
But the arXiv paper actually proves that your prompt is not the problem at all.
Right. It is your context.
Yeah.
They introduced this concept called context engineering.
Yeah. Think of context engineering as like the science of the briefing.
The science of the briefing. I like that.
People treat AI like an all-knowing oracle, you know? You ask a question and you expect pure gold.
But under the hood, a large language model is really just a highly advanced prediction engine.
Exactly. It guesses the next word based on the text it just read. And the MIT Sloan study backs this up completely.
They proved that the granularity of the information you feed the AI before you even ask your question is everything.
Right. It is directly proportional to the quality of the answer. If you give it generic context, it predicts generic words.
So how do we actually fix that? Because I know a lot of people just open the app and start typing their request.
They don't do any prep work at all. Well, that brings us to the first actionable insight from the Retirepreneur Guide. You have to establish your global profile.
Your global profile?
Yeah. Inside Claude settings, there is a specific section for your profile and personal preferences.
And what you write in there acts as a standing brief, right?
Exactly. It automatically attaches itself invisibly to every single conversation you start. You are essentially curing the AI's amnesia.
Amnesia. Wait, explain how that works technically. Why does it have amnesia in the first place?
Because without that profile, the chat interface is what software developers call stateless.
Stateless, so it just forgets everything.
Every time you click new chat, yes, the AI forgets everything you have ever told it. It wakes up with zero memory.
Wow. Zero memory of who you are, what your business does, or how you like to speak.
It is a completely blank slate every single time you hit enter on a new conversation.
Think about how insane that would be in the real world. I mean, imagine hiring a brand new temporary assistant every single morning.
Oh, that sounds like a total nightmare.
Right. They walk into your office at 9, and you have to frantically explain your entire 30-year corporate background.
And who your target audience is, what your brand voice sounds like.
Exactly. And then you expect them to absorb all of that and write a perfect client proposal by noon.
And then at 5 o'clock, they wipe their memory clean and you start all over again the next day.
Literally no one would run a business like that.
But that is exactly how millions of professionals are using AI right now.
So the guide outlines 5 specific areas you need to fill out in your Claude profile to stop doing that.
First is your professional background. And you can't just type business professional.
Right. You need to be specific. Like former chief financial officer with 32 years of experience in commercial real estate.
Second is your business concept. What exactly are you building? And third is your target audience.
So give the AI their age, their professional background, and their primary pain points.
Fourth is your communication style. And fifth is your formatting rules.
Okay, wait, I'm going to push back here for a second.
Okay, go for it.
Setting up global preferences, writing a 5-part brief detailing my entire life story and my formatting rules.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds like exactly the kind of tedious admin work I'm trying to avoid by using AI in the first place.
It definitely feels like homework up front. I will give you that.
Isn't it just faster to tell Claude what I need in the moment? If I want a short professional email, I just type write a short email.
Well, let's look at the math on this over the course of a month. If you skip this step, you are forcing yourself to manually type out context clues every single time.
So I'm typing extra words just to remind it not to use emojis.
Right, or not to use corporate speak, or to remember that you sell to executives, not college students.
Okay, I see what you mean.
When you lock those rules into the global profile, you change the baseline quality of the AI permanently. You never have to explain your credentials again.
Okay, that makes sense. So the profile cures the amnesia about who you are generally.
Exactly. Claude now knows you are a retired CFO starting a coaching business.
But that introduces a totally new problem. Because as a solo entrepreneur, you don't just do one thing.
Oh, absolutely not. You wear a dozen hats a day.
Right. In the morning, you might be mapping out a complex 5-year pricing strategy.
And by the afternoon, you are drafting a casual social media post.
So Claude might know your background, but how does it know what specific mode you are operating in at any given moment?
Well, this is where we move past the global profile and look at compartmentalizing your work.
Which is the second major insight from our sources.
Yes, using Claude's projects feature. A project is a persistent workspace.
So it retains your custom instructions, your uploaded reference documents, and your conversation history just for that specific area.
Exactly, just for that specific area of your business.
Let's explain the mechanics of that. If I'm on the free plan versus the paid plan, what does this look like?
Well, free Claude accounts get 5 projects, which is honestly more than enough to get off the ground.
Oh, okay. So we aren't talking about expensive enterprise software subscriptions.
Not at all. Now, the $20 monthly pro plan does give you unlimited projects and something called enhanced document retrieval.
Let's pause on that. Enhanced document retrieval.
Mm-hmm.
The sources mention arXiv technology. What exactly is RAG?
Yeah, so RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation.
And why should a 55-year-old consultant care about it?
Well, let's say you upload a 50-page PDF of your past consulting frameworks into a project.
Okay, that's a lot of dense data.
It is. Without RAG, the AI tries to hold all 50 pages in its active memory at once while talking to you.
Which sounds exhausting for a computer.
It gets overwhelmed, it loses its place, and it starts hallucinating facts. RAG completely changes the process.
So how does RAG work differently?
It works like giving the AI an open book test with a highly organized index.
Oh, I love that analogy.
When you ask a question, the AI quickly scans the index, pulls only the specific paragraphs relevant to your question, reads them, and then answers you.
That is brilliant. It is much more accurate and rarely loses the thread of the conversation, even with massive amounts of data.
Exactly. That makes a huge difference if you are dealing with dense technical material.
But the Retirepreneur Guide says you really only need 3 projects to run an entire lean business. That sounds almost too simple to be true.
It does, but the guide suggests a highly focused structure to keep things clean. First is your strategy project.
Strategy. So what goes in there?
Think of strategy as the vault. It holds your master business plan, your audience profiles, and your pricing analysis.
Okay. And the second project?
Second is your content project. Think of this as your production assembly line.
So that holds your style guides, your templates, and your past newsletters.
You got it. And third is your operations project. This is the engine room.
The engine room. Okay, so that holds your standard operating procedures, your lists of software tools, and your internal process notes.
Exactly.
Let me put myself in the shoes of someone actively building their business today. Let's say I am writing out this step-by-step procedure for how I onboard a new coaching client.
Okay, good example.
Which project does that go into? Content or operations?
You have to look at the end goal of the document. Are you creating a rule book for how the back end of the business runs?
Well, yes, it's for me to follow.
Then that is a standard operating procedure, so it belongs in operations.
But what if I am drafting a welcome packet that the client will actually read?
Then that is educational material, so it belongs in content. The absolute key here is maintaining a strict boundary between different types of thinking.
Think about how you organize your physical workspace right now. You wouldn't keep your official IRS tax filings in the exact same folder as your daily brainstorming scribbles.
Definitely not.
You don't cook dinner in the garage and you don't sleep in the kitchen. Every room in your house has a distinct purpose.
And holds the specific tools for that job.
So why would we mix long-term positioning strategy with a weekly newsletter draft in the exact same AI chat window?
That physical separation translates directly to how language models process information.
Because when you ask Claude a question inside a standard chat, it scans the entire conversation history of that window.
It reads the room, essentially, to find clues about how it should answer.
So if my chat history has a dense academic debate about premium pricing models, sitting right next to a request for a catchy social media caption.
The AI gets its wires crossed, its attention mechanism gets pulled in two entirely different directions.
It averages out the context. It might try to use the stiff academic tone of your pricing strategy to write your social media post,
Making it sound totally unnatural.
Wow. Yeah.
Like keeping your tasks separated into strategy, content, and operations, you ensure Claude always pulls from the correct reference material.
You never have to remind it what mode it should be in because the environment dictates the mode.
But having different rooms is totally useless if the AI doesn't know the specific rules of each room.
Right. Claude needs a set of instructions for strategy, a set for content, and a set for operations.
Which brings us to our third and final insight from the guide. You need to create a controlling document for each project.
A controlling document. So this is a single reference file saved directly into the project's knowledge base.
Yes, it is not a prompt you type every day. It is a highly structured brief that you build once, upload, and update as your business evolves.
Are we asking people to sit down and write a 10-page manual for their AI from scratch?
Absolutely not.
Good. Because staring at a blank page trying to articulate 30 years of business philosophy sounds incredibly paralyzing.
You do not write this yourself. The guide introduces a reverse interview method.
This is the part of the guide that completely changes the game.
It really does. You open up your new project, and you prompt Claude to interview you.
You don't even have to know what information the AI needs to do its job properly. You just command the machine to ask you the right questions.
You literally type, I want to build a controlling document for my business content. Ask me the questions you need answered to make this document useful.
And you tell it to ask them one at a time, starting with your professional background, and wait for your answer.
Claude takes over the entire process. It will ask about your specific areas of expertise.
It will ask if your delivery format is consulting, one-on-one coaching, or a cohort-based course.
It will ask about your income goals, your pricing philosophy, your tone of voice,
and even the personal stories that shape your brand. It is having a conversation with you to extract the raw material out of your head.
And once you have answered all of its questions, you tell Claude to compile everything into a single, organized document.
You save that document as a PDF or text file, and you upload it permanently into the project.
Now, for anyone looking for a shortcut, Kurt Rose actually included a ready-to-use Claude setup document inside the AI guide available on the Retirepreneur Hub.
That is amazing. It bypasses a lot of that initial back and forth and gives you a template to work from immediately.
Yeah.
It reminds me of opening a franchise. If you buy a fast food franchise, the parent company doesn't just hand you the keys to the building and tell you to go figure out how to make a burger.
No, they give you a massive, highly detailed binder.
It tells you the exact temperature of the grill. It tells you exactly how much sauce goes on the bun.
It tells you the exact script to use when greeting a customer.
The controlling document does the exact same thing for your intellectual property.
That is a really highly accurate comparison. The controlling document guarantees that your business produces a consistent level of quality.
It doesn't matter if you, the founder, are actively writing a piece of content, or if you are having the AI draft the first version based on your rough notes.
The output always aligns with your franchise rules. Now, we do need to address the time investment here.
Right, let's hear it, because this sounds like a serious time commitment up front.
Building out the global profile, creating the 3 specific projects, and conducting the reverse interviews will take roughly 2 hours of focused work.
2 hours feels like a lot when we are so used to instant gratification from our technology. We want to click a button and have the work done.
It is a solid block of time, but the return on that investment compounds every single week.
After that initial setup, every session runs faster. You skip the tedious prompting phase and go straight to doing actual work.
But there is a serious reality check we have to talk about regarding privacy.
Oh, yeah. What exactly are you putting into these documents? We are talking about uploading your core business strategy to a cloud server.
Exactly. And professionals stepping out of corporate roles, especially from regulated industries like finance, healthcare, or legal services, have to be incredibly careful here.
Right. If I am a retired healthcare executive or a former wealth manager, I have deeply ingrained habits regarding client confidentiality.
You must review Anthropic's data usage policies before you upload anything. You need absolute clarity on what data is retained by the platform
and how they use it to train their models. You should never include proprietary client information, personal identifiable details, or highly confidential financial data.
Claude is a powerful tool, but it requires the exact same professional judgment you used in your corporate career.
That is a vital distinction to make. We want to build lean, efficient businesses, but we cannot violate client trust or industry regulations in the process. You have to sanitize the data you use to teach the AI.
Absolutely.
So let's look at what we've built here today. We started with the concept of context engineering.
Proving that poor AI output is a context problem, not a prompting problem.
We fixed the AI's daily amnesia by building a global profile that acts as a standing brief.
Then we solved the problem of wearing too many hats by creating 3 distinct workspaces: strategy, content, and operations.
We kept them separated so the AI doesn't cross its wires when reading the chat history.
Finally, we populated those workspaces by having the AI reverse interview us.
Creating controlling documents that act like franchise playbooks for our expertise.
When you combine all 3 of these elements, you fundamentally change your relationship with the technology.
You stop fighting with a generic chatbot and you start collaborating with a tailored business partner.
It is the difference between treating AI as a fun novelty and treating it as foundational infrastructure for your second act business.
It completely shifts the paradigm. I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over as you go about your day. We spend so much time collectively complaining that AI sounds robotic, generic, and soulless.
Yeah, we do.
But if you take these 2 hours to properly map your expertise, your specific voice, and your rules into a system like this, what happens to the ceiling of your business?
That is the real question.
Think about the moment your AI assistant finally stops sounding like a college freshman and actually starts wielding your 30 years of hard-earned wisdom at the speed of software. What does your business look like then?
That's your executive briefing for this week. If you found value in these insights, share this episode with fellow retirepreneurs and subscribe to the Retirepreneur newsletter at retirepreneur.com. Follow us for weekly strategic insights, and remember, your most successful chapter is just beginning. Until next week, keep building.